So, Star Wars Galaxies is again in the news, and for a variety of reasons from a variety of sources. So on one hand, the blame game on what killed the game has resurfaced, and on another, former developers reflect on what actually went wrong. In some other cases, however, some have seen this as a perfect opportunity to reboot what has been seen by some as a failed experiment, when 18 years of longevity have shown it has been anything but. I already hear some of you chomping at the bit to get to the what did the devs say, so we'll get to that bit of the story out of the way. So if you haven't seen it yet, PC Gamer and TheGamer.com first bumped the story to the front of view about 2 weeks ago that this year's all-digital GDC, that's a game developers conference for those who are unaware, they hosted Raph Koster and Richard Vogel to break down the story of the worst game to become a classic and the most infamous patch in video game history. The first thing that will come to the minds of many will be the new game enhancements that first launched in November of 2005 to the lament of an already fed-up community that had already been through one combat upgrade that prior May, but the fatal blow was actually dealt long before that, and by something once seemed so rare and coveted. Marketing ultimately resulted in updates like the CU and the NGE, but they also pushed something else. Jedi! It started as a simple hologrind. A holocron was assigned to each player with a predestined series of skills, classes, and accomplishments that needed fulfilled to become force sensitive. The random class grind requirement was later replaced by simply knocking out a series of achievements and accomplishments like certain points of interest visited and the hero Tatooine quest completed, as some examples like your factional theme park, stuff like that, to reach your force potential. Then by the release of the NGE, all that work that we'd put in previously was invalidated by SWG and LucasArts, making Jedi a starting class. And that was just the gameplay side of the egregious nature. You see, during the mid-2000s, before all of Disney's impact on the Star Wars franchise, it was generally accepted that there were no other Jedi other than Ben, Yoda, and Luke, despite that never actually being said at any point in the movies. Obi-Wan only ever said, all but extinct, not we're all that's left of the old order. Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau knew this all too well when not only did they allow Ahsoka to endure post-Empire, but that so too did the Mandalorians. See, many also believed that only the Death Watch endured through the Galactic Civil War. But again, nothing in official canon ever declared that. We had grown so accustomed to cherry-picking elements from the novels as canon and manufacturing claims of what George Lucas had or had not said was canon that no one ever really stopped to challenge those notions until Disney bought Star Wars and broadly expanded its universe. So is it silly to see a bunch of Jedi running around in a time when they should be in hiding? Sure. Same for every brooding hardass who thinks they're Mandalorian wearing a Mandalorian helmet in front of the Mos Eisley Cantina, but when they share more in common with the Watch than they do actual Mandalorians, I really don't care. Shabwir. But at the end of the day, there is no rigid canonical declaration that says that there shouldn't be any of this. I imagine Cal Kestis will endure through the GCW to have some adventures ducking and dodging the Inquisitors as well. Same goes for Ezra Bridger and fam. Okay? So yeah, there's probably Jedi out there, but none with the actual agency or talents that Luke Skywalker had. That's why he's an actual legend, and we're just adventurers with legendary stories. And legendary stories are what Star Wars Galaxies has always been about. From the community engagement to the sandbox create your own adventure setting, the game has always been about your own contribution to the greater conflict. Whether you built the most powerful gunship on the server that holds space territories with an iron fist, or used your social prowess to assemble the most formidable rebel squadron to beat back the Imperial threat, or you were always the dependable buffing medic or entertainer in the cantina ready to recover the latest fire team coming back from a heroic encounter from all corners of the galaxy, there was something for everybody. Everyone had their desired roles, but everyone could socialize across them equally. Add that you can not only build your own player-run cities where you like, but you can then decorate the interiors of those homes with free movement commands that allowed for the most precise of small movements, right down to the big ones. You could even macro those commands. You can macro all kinds of commands. Star Wars The Old Republic tries to be this, but it does so with some smoke and mirrors. It locks you into this on-rails theme park that's pre-scripted and lacks the magic of your own personal touch. Don't get me wrong, each game possesses its own merits, alright? And thankfully, they exist apart both in a span of nearly 3 millennia and vastly different gameplay models. So why then do opinion articles exist suggesting that Star Wars Galaxies be rebooted sans the Jedi? Well, that's because many cling to the success of shows like The Mandalorian and Bad Batch as to why the growing interest in non-Force stories can justify the existence of a rebooted SWG with no Jedi. So then why not just make an entirely new open-world game similar to that of The Division or even Destiny, where blaster-wielding freebooters or freedom fighters grapple with the pieces of what's left after a brutal galactic civil war? If the events after Return of the Jedi have left the galaxy in a state of cosmic Wild West, then there's no better formula to articulate that experience than an open-world multiplayer looter shooter, especially one done arguably better than recent outings like Anthem or Outriders. There's no reason to reboot Star Wars Galaxies. The outpouring of love that the game received in its final live hours in 2011 proved this. That the game has endured in projects like Basilisk, Empire in Flames, and Legends proves this. There's no longer any reason to hate the NGE other than what SOE and LucasArts did to us back in 2005. SWG Legends thrives as one of the most successful emulator projects, and it runs on the new game enhancements. Not only that, but it features completely new, unmodded, from-scratch content like Bespin, new ships, new houses, all new scripted world event content, and several other things that didn't exist on live servers. Not only that, but Felucia's on the way, and who knows how far the Legends team will go. These reasons, above all else, are why Star Wars Galaxies should remain just as it is. Independent projects run by passionate fans for passionate fans. Links to my resources and these stories are attached in the description below. Thanks for tuning in for my second video of the weekend. I really appreciate it. And I hope this brings a few more friends to join me and my longtime friends over at SWG Legends and see why Star Wars Galaxies has endured for over 18 years. I appreciate any new likes and new subscriptions, and ring that bell for notifications if you want to ride with the Outlaws. See you all again soon. Until next time.